Alright, big boys, part 2. Let's get it. If you guys haven't already seen the previous video, please go watch that. The video is in the top right iCard. Kicking off part 2, we have Wildfire at Silver Dollar City. This B&M Hyper is a pretty good one. It's not too forceful, not too intense, but it still rides really well and it's super smooth. Not to mention the view of the Ozarks is just beautiful. Patriot is like eating a hot dog. It either leaves a processed meat boiled clusterfuck of flavor in your mouth, or it leaves a flame-grilled smoky taste. All in all, the ride is equally fun and tame, similar to Wildfire. Mamba is what you get when you give GP the chance to design a roller coaster. The spooky, scary 200-foot drop with some floater airtime, no inversions, and a god-awful finale. Whenever you hear, you know your ride is going to be like going through a brisk walk through the void, and that your experience will be absolutely nothing. I need to bring a pillow and blanket every time I board these trains just to reserve for the second half. Ever want your body to be tired in a good way? Boss achieves that.
That's what she said.
The way it rips through its layout, this monster of a Woody will treat your body like it was hit with the ragdoll gun from Gmod. However, I've heard it's grown rough over the years, so I'll be a bandwagon sheep. We should RMC boss. If your PTC gives a better ride than your GCI and your monster CCI, you may have a problem. Alright boys, top 20. These coasters are all great. So I'll try and expand on that, and hopefully I can make it more entertaining for you. Gatekeeper can only be described with 2 words. Keyhole good. Valraven brings out my inner GP. It'd be the enthusiast thing to say, "Oh, it's just a 90-degree drop, you f***ing pleb. The hybrid has that across the park." But hanging there in suspense of when the train will drop, only for it to free fall down into a soaring sensation, is a great feeling on a B&M. If only the other half was that good. Being the longest wooden coaster in the world, this beast is like taking an adventure, something another coaster in the park claims to do, but doesn't. This thing isn't the fastest, nor the most intense, but riding this is like listening to your grandpa tell one of those famous war stories, classic and timeless. Blue Streak. I'm fully convinced buzz bars are the new old wave, because I have had one of the most floater airtime filled experiences on a Woody in a long ass time. Gemini races for one, but also gives good airtime. It was also surprisingly fast. The only problem is that it looks like a hot piece of garbage. That thing looks like Bigfoot ate some wood and metal and took a massive shit on the midway. You've seen them at every Six Flags Money Machine. They aren't parks, they're landmarked advertisements across North America. The Batman clones are intense, speedy, and GP crowd pleasers. They're also renowned for one of the worst queue lines known to man. We're not sardines, Six Flags. Stop trapping us in tin cans. Despite its interesting story, Powder Keg was my first launch coaster, and first big kid coaster. That's right, Destroyer Phase Camcod just classed up on all of you enthusiasts. So to say I hold this coaster in pretty high esteem is an understatement. Nevertheless, it's such a cool credit to have because of its interesting layout and beautiful views from the trees of the Ozarks. Prowler. Prowler. My ass cheek is probably imprinted on the seat in the back car. I marathoned it that much. This shit is just so much fun and so re-rideable. The average Diamondback enjoyer is probably sitting there shitting himself at the moment, but I didn't think it was all the hype. I got a middle seat, so that might have affected my experience on the ride, but nevertheless, I enjoyed Orion much more. B&M Gigas, or just Gigas in general, just succeed on so many levels at making you feel like you're falling down that first drop for forever. Not to mention, that wave turn making my innards collide with the side of my stomach. Alright, top 10. Everything here is nut-worthy. 10 out of 10. Would throw myself in front of a bus for these coasters. Mr. Freeze is an intense-ass coaster. Enough said. Bring back LAM launches. Banshee. No, not your mom in bed, is an intense B&M invert. Never have I taken an inversion so slow that my head slowly felt blood rushing to it. That 0G roll in the pretzel knot is what puts it in this spot. Also, rest in peace, son of beast. You let your survivors get away. Top Thrill Dragster is badass. On my trip to Cedar Point over the summer in 2020, this was one of the only coasters I was nervous for. Needless to say, I was so blown away by the sheer speed and forces I felt going into that top hat, I simultaneously and at the same time. Sorry, Cedar Point. Also, if you're one of those absolute bumbling pea-brain losers that keep your hands up when he says hands down, I will personally run you over with the dragster. Millennium Force, or Millie Bobby Brown, isn't too similar to the feeling of actual Millie Bobby Brown running over gay people in her car. That's a joke, please don't fucking sue me. In seriousness, of the two gigas I've ridden, Orion and Millie takes the cake. She is smooth as glass and gives so much floater airtime and graze you out on its lateral turns. Raptor left my legs feeling like they were drained of all the blood in my body. That final helix is the most forceful thing I've ever felt. The fact that a B&M invert can be this intense is astonishing to me. I genuinely felt like a drunken hobo with amnesia once I hit the brake run. Magnum is like how I'd imagine Thigh Crush would be if it were made by Arrow. Ron Toomer is a psychopath, thinking those airtime hills are safe to operate. When I rode Magnum, I didn't know about the magic seat. Even then, I still felt like I was gonna reenact a shooting stars meme on the final bunny hill. Luckily, my legs acting as dead weight because of the sheer pain they were in from the lap bar kept me from dying. Hell, if I did die, at least on my gravestone, it could be something badass like died from Magnum. Or maybe they could put a headpiece for me in the queue line like they did with Son of Beast and Banshee. Outlaw Run is a monster of a wooden coaster. It was the first RMC I rode, and the first coaster I attended opening day for. It's definitely set a high bar of quality for coasters after that, and that's not a bad thing at all. You could argue this coaster is what got me into coasters in general. It was like nothing I've ever ridden before, and likely sparked my increasing interest in roller coasters. Maverick is a masterpiece. There's never a dull moment. Intamin managed to make trim brakes fun. Maverick is a little demon and just shows Intamin were flexing on every single manufacturer at the time of its opening. And now, the second launch into the blinding sunlight and sequential ejector hill gives me a simmy just thinking about it. What's in the shed? All of the dead bodies Kings Island has harbored over the years. No, I'm just kidding. It's all of the good things I could say about this ride. This thing hauls. I live for the double camelback trick track, triple tap, tic tac, tip out that this thing achieves. Listen, y'all are gonna hate me for this, but I'm sorry. Steel Vengeance is not my favorite roller coaster of all time. Steel Vengeance is literally a piece of shit. Take the shit-ass steel off, call up Den, and fix that shit quickly. I truly do not care about all of the airtime this thing quote-unquote achieves. It's taking the limelight away from the once glorious mean streak. Fuck you, Steel Vengeance.